Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of JetCast by MJP, the video podcast where we'll be mixing up the flow of marine industry news with firsthand input from industry experts. I'm your host, Kelsey Nemeth, Marketing Manager for Marine Jet Power. Today is our first ever episode, and we have a very special show planned for you. We will be discussing hybrid electric propulsion solutions and high-speed vessels. I'm joined by three industry experts. First up, MJP's own waterjet expert, Nils Morén.
Hello.
Torben Dabrowski from Scania.
Hello.
And Gerard Törneman of Marell Boats. Welcome, everybody.
Good to see you.
So this, like I said, is a very special first episode of JetCast by MJP, and we are so excited to talk about the Scania hybrid electric power solution that is matched up with the M17 Interceptor by Marell Boats, and this has got to be one of the most recently talked about vessels on social media. I know we posted about it, and so many people had questions about it. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'll start with Gerard. Could you tell us a little bit about where the idea for this project came from?
It actually came from the owner and the founder of Marell Boats, Patrick Söderholm. After a successful installation of a hybrid system in a Marell boat called M15, a tour boat for Arctic operation. And then we were thinking all together what to do next step, and we would like to be in the front of the competitors, in front of our customers. So the best bet would be to do an interceptor faster than anyone else, but with hybrid, because we could also see a demand for hybrid and electric solution coming up. So we just wanted to be in the lead.
Absolutely. And what kind of drove you to select the Scania matched with MJP package?
You can see from there's a different perspective. One is the Swedish touch of it. Maybe that's not so popular in other countries, but anyhow, it's very good. We are close to each other when we do something which is really an advanced system. And then you can see that both Scania and MJP, they do very efficient engine or propulsion solutions, if you put it that way. The most efficient you can find in the market, which makes them, together with a very efficient hull, a perfect match for us to continue to develop this hybrid solution.
Absolutely. So Torben, can you tell us a little bit more about how the technology works?
Well, it's quite easy. You just add an electric motor to the diesel engine and you go. No, it's of course a lot more than that. But what we have done is to make a system that actually interacts with all the installed products. So you have the diesel engine, you have the electric motor, you have the cooling system, you have the high voltage, and you have the batteries. And along with that, you get all the auxiliary equipment. So we have all of that in our scope. So this technology then has to communicate as well, and that's where we think that we have made something unique together with MJP and Marell. So the scope that we're putting into this vessel, which is a twin installation, there we have a power control unit, as we call it. It's the coordinator of the whole system, so that makes sure that everything communicates, and we are in charge of how that's managed. So you can choose to go full diesel, you can choose to go only electric, or you can choose to use a combination of that. So that's where you go hybrid. And the good thing with this is that since we have made the system and have the control over all communication and management in the installation, we can also make sure that you as an operator always knows and understands where to take the energy from, how to use that in the most efficient way. And also there's plenty of ways to make savings in such a system, since you can, depending on how you're operating, you could actually turn off one of the diesel engines and use one E-Machine as a generator and the other one as a propulsion unit. So you could save fuel, you could also save on maintenance, and you can prolong the life length of the diesel engines by a smart operation of this system. So there's lots of possibilities that we have built in, and we will showcase that with the M17 and the MJP Waterjet system. So it's really exciting to be part of this.
So Nils, can you tell us a little bit more about why water jets are kind of specifically well suited in this segment and some of the benefits that operators can gain by using water jets here?
Yeah, water jets are generally very good for very high speed, mainly because of the high efficiency at high speed. And heavy boats with hybrid solutions are normally looking for slow speed or low speed. But in this case, we are very lucky to actually match the RPM of the engine perfectly, so we can use both electric and diesel power at full speed. So we have 846 kilowatt of diesel engine and 100 kilowatt of electrical engine on the same propulsion line, and all that power can go into on two lines to one 17-meter interceptor boat, which will receive very high ship speeds when you run both systems together. But of course you can also do everything else that you can do with a hybrid boat, running only on electrical or combined, as Torben said. So you can have silent operation or only harbor operation on electrical. MJP's challenge in this is actually quite low, because the only part we really need to look into is the hydraulic system that we will operate fully electric, so we are not depending on any idle RPM from the diesel engine or anything. From there, from MJP side, it doesn't matter if the power comes electric or diesel, we can still always operate the boat. And that gives a very big flexibility for the operator. It's a very nice match between these boats.
So I know that this vessel is still a prototype, so what kind of top speed are you predicting, Gerard?
Yeah, make it simple, 58 knots. Depends on how many people wants to go on board during the trials. The whole Scania and MJP, then we'll make 55 or something like that.
And when can we expect to see this boat hit the water?
It will hit the water in October.
Oh wow, that's exciting. Good,
yeah.
Good. So, kind of just in general about this technology, what other marine applications could benefit from this package? I know that CTVs are kind of a hot topic in the industry right now, as are a lot of other emerging segments. So what are your thoughts on other types of vessels and other applications and missions that could benefit from this package?
If I may start there, I see that apart from the CTV, where you can imagine to use electrical only when the boat is standing on the windmill, pushing on the windmill, which is obviously a good operation. But we can think about yachts entering harbors or areas where they don't want you to run on the diesel engine, which is very nice. Then on patrol boats, a typical waterjet-driven patrol boat runs occasionally at very high speed, 40-45 knots, but a lot of the time it's only patrolling for long distances. And then we can for sure use this combined operation where you maybe run one waterjet on diesel and generating electrical power for the other one, and get both good range and good fuel consumption for that application. So the match on patrol boats with long range capability, I think, is good. And then in military segments, they are interested in the silent mode. If you approach an island or something, you can do that on all electrical, completely silent. So that's, from a defense point of view, it can be very interesting. So that's a few of the segments where I see that this technology could be very good.
Maybe I can hook on there to go backwards from what Nils said. One is actually the working environment for the operator, for the captain on board. Yeah. When you go into this hybrid mode, and they are spending a lot of time. We are focusing on patrol boats at present, and they spend a lot of time in loitering, patrolling, low speed, and so on. Then to have that feeling that you're more or less complete silence, which added on with the smooth operation of the Waterjets, you get an excellent boat that performs very well in low speed. Marell has won the Interceptor of the Year award 2 years in a row, and hopefully we will win a third year. We didn't win last year, but the years before. And I think this Interceptor concept, when then you talk about this boat that makes really high speed, that cuts the course for another boat. You don't crash into it, but you can, because you're faster and you're more clever and can maneuver much quicker, which you can do with a Marell boat with the Waterjets. So I think it's coming back to that. But most of the time they're just waiting, silent in the dark, listening to the other guys coming. It could be in Hong Kong, it could be in anywhere in the world, that you are a silent operation waiting for something to happen, and then you go full speed. And what you haven't mentioned here really, but we could add on, maybe you have mentioned it, but just emphasize that the sprint speed, when we add on the 100 kilowatt extra on the diesel engine power to get the really top speed performance, that is unique. And it's unique because we have matched the whole system so well into both the hull and the jet and the engines together. I think that's our focus market to start with. But then, of course, when you talk about CTVs, there's a little bit of a similar situation when you go long distance with diesel, and then when you're out there waiting for the technicians to climb up and down the pylons, you can go on electric mode, which is also good for your working environment, but also for the fuel saving and for the environment around you. So it's a lot of good things. It's not for ferry operation A to B. Then you can go full electric, because then you have all the capacity to charge. But then in a situation where you cannot charge that often, this hybrid solution will be the only solution. And the hybrid solution with electric and a combustion engine will be the future, but it doesn't need to be a diesel engine. It could be maybe another type of combustion. Torben knows more about that, so I will not go into that.
Yeah, well, maybe I can add on to that as well. But I agree that authority vessels would be the segments that this would fit very well into. Everything that is patrolling 80% of the time would benefit from a hybrid system, and then you can match that with the top speed you get. But also, service vessels for fish farms would benefit from this as well. That's also long distance, and then you're just loitering around the fish farms. Yeah. But then Gerard, you were into passenger ferries. The passenger ferries not going from A to B would definitely be a target for this as well, where you enter areas that are maybe not allowed with diesel or any pollution at all, and pollution could be noise as well. So I think there's plenty of opportunities in those inner city areas as well. And we were touching on the infrastructure of charging, which is will take years and years and years before you have anything that's powerful enough to charge these in a good way. And the investments there are enormous before they are in place. So hybrids with the combustion engine of some type will be here for a long time before they go full electric in a broader way.
Good. So I know the three of you are, industry experts. So kind of how have you seen some of the marine industry technology evolve over the years to kind of get us to the point where we are today?
If I go first again,
Yeah.
marine people, we are conservative, so it evolves slowly. But I worked all my life with vessels with water jets ever since 1988. And in the beginning, I had to tell every time to everybody why you should use water jets at all. Today, I don't need to do that because it's a well-known technology. Today, maybe we need to explain to the market better why you choose the correct water jet for your application, because always our customers, or very often customers, are buying the lowest cost product that is in the market, and it's maybe not the most efficient, and if you go a bit bigger in size you can get better efficiency. So if you can invest a little bit in your future, you can have very nice efficiency figures with water jets, and very, very often we have to struggle today to explain to the market that please consider a bigger water jet than you have planned for, because you can get 3, 5, 6% higher efficiency, and it's a short term investment if you save money when you build a boat, because the boat is supposed to live for 30 years and you will burn a lot of extra fuel when you buy the wrong product. So we are slow learners, but we try to explain to the market. Yes.
Yeah, conservative is definitely the correct wording, and as you said, Nils, this market is not moving very fast when it comes to technology. It hasn't, at least, but I mean, with what has been happening the last years, with fuel costs, with how incentives are coming in place, then the technology speed has also moved on quite quickly. So there's a drive for this new technology on the market, and it's definitely driven by the increased expenses and increased cost from the operators, and it's been very hard to get them to get through all the way, because the investor is not the same as the operator, so you won't get the investor to save money on efficiency, because it's not his money or her money. So but now I think this is actually coming through all the way to the end user, so we're actually being able to convince them that this extra efficiency is worth investing in.
Actually, sometimes some of our customers are very blunt, and they are telling us that, well, the investment account is a different account from the fuel account. Mm-hmm. So the investment account are not interested to invest in the technology, and the fuel account and the environment is paying. And we have to jointly try to explain to the market and make them make the right choice at the investment.
I would like to just enter into another angle of this. It's actually reliability. I mean, we talk about safety and reliability as one of the most important things for everyone, depending on land or on marine and so on. And with Marell, we try to make a platform that is, easy to work with, safe to handle, and being also efficient and reliable over time. And therefore, we when looking into the future, you see a lot of different type of foil things coming up, and for us still, this you have to bite your tongue here, but still we are not going into foils, and the big thing is experience, and I will come back to experience later on when you ask about your best boating experience. But Nils, he worked for a shipyard called Marine Technique Shipbuilders, and they tried foils for like 25 years or 30 years ago. And you have the foil cats in Hong Kong being the fastest catamarans fastest boats going between Hong Kong and Macau, but also the extremely high fuel consumption. So, but then the reason why a lot of people left the foils many years ago was because they were not running on safe rivers or safe safe areas. They were running on areas where you can hit things. You can hit, you destroy your propellers, you destroy your foil, you get a lot of maintenance on the foils and so on. So for a patrol boat, I mean, we see, for a rescue boat, there's a lot of boats that foils are not there, not yet, not at all. But because we focus on safe operation at any time, and if you add then on the feature of a water jet, then you can touch the ground and continue on the other side without any problem. So now I'm selling some MJP Waterjets by talking here, but it's all coming back to reliability of a boat, of a propulsion system, of a navigation system, and so on, which that's our focus.
It's good that sorry, Gerard, it's good that you bring this up, because I'm actually an aeronautical engineer and not naval architect. And I was part of. I saw some of these foil boats, and I think one of the biggest problem is that the market is not really prepared to accommodate foiling boats, because it puts completely different requirements on service maintenance, and you have to have some aeronautical thinking on maintenance support. Handling of almost accidents and everything like that. So, but of course there is a big advantage if you can reduce the resistance a lot. And we had, I don't remember how many foiling boats we have done, but we have done with Marine Technique. We did a couple of catamarans and also monohulls. So the system works with foils and water jets, so you can achieve high speed on lower power, yes, with foiling technology, that's for sure.
Kind of one thing that we just like to end on, MJP this year is celebrating our 35th anniversary. This spring we'll celebrate the commissioning of the Cinderella, which was our first ever water jet installed vessel, and that vessel will be turning 35 years old later next month. So kind of one thing that we like to end on in the spirit of boating and our anniversary, I just like to go around and get to date, what has been your best experience on the water?
I didn't expect that your announcement there, because one of our best experience on water was actually the trial of Cinderella.
Wow.
With the 2 MJP Waterjets and 4 Scania engines. And the speed was calculated to like 24 knots, and it made 24 and a half. And it was a new waterjet, it was a new concept on this engines with a V-belt drive to a common shaft to the water. Everything was new. And the boat was new. Actually, the Cinderella, as you know, came into a complete new services in the Stockholm archipelago. So that was one of my best boating experience. But I think that's all coming into when you're at the shipyard. The trials of a boat, the first trial is always the most experienced thing the exciting thing you can experience.
Well, maybe I can move on with or hang on to that. And it was actually when we were having discussions with Marell about this and making the first initiatives, and we had a test drive. Not going to tell you what kind of propulsion it was, Scania, but it was a full speed test drive, and Patrick he made a 180 degree turn, and we hardly lost any speed at all. And I was expecting that boat to go down in half the speed, but that was an amazing experience to feel, and that's when I at least thought that I want to feel this with our propulsion, because that would be even more awesome.
Good thinking.
Okay, I can divide my best boating experiences in two. One on a private level, sailing, because we bought a boat that is not a racing boat, and we beat everybody with 10 minutes on calculated time. That was a true underdog achievement, and that was a very nice achievement. And talking about MJP and long back in the history, we were always the underdog, and we managed to climb up and become one of the biggest three suppliers of water jets dominating the market and efficiency and so on, and that's a very nice job we have done. And if I would just pick up one project out of all the one that we have done, I think I would like to talk about the Taiwan 500-ton project, because it really started like an inquiry. They were considering changing out CP propeller boat to water jets. And through clever engineering, suggesting water jets, different concept and so on, we managed to do the propulsion system 40% cheaper, a boat that is faster and using less fuel, going from CP propeller to water jets, and adding rudders for the sea conditions outside Taiwan is extreme, so it requires continuous steering, so we can do steering without any speed loss. And I think the 500-ton project in Taiwan also helped us grow into other markets like South Korea and so on. So that was a milestone in our company history, and maybe one of my favorite projects. Even though only 2 boats were built, it's a very nice project.
Well, good. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. And thank you to everybody who joined in for our first ever JetCast video podcast by Marine Jet Power. We really enjoyed spending time with you. Thank you to our guests, Torben, Nils, Gerard. Thank you so much for your input on this topic. I know hybrid electric solutions are a hot topic in the industry right now, so thank you so much for your valuable input. Thank you to our viewers. If you have any ideas for topics that you would like to see us bring to you on the next episode of JetCast, please feel free to leave that in the comments or email us at marketing@marinejetpower.com. And until next time, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.